What's going on, y'all? It's JSmo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys yet another piece of my end of the year battle wrap-up content for 2024, going over the best of the best, in terms of what we got in battle rap this year. And in this case, kind of the best and the worst in a sense, because this is my top 5 body bags of 2024. So we're talking death, agony, and despair today. We're talking lopsided battles and ass whoopings. And overall, it's been, like I'll say over and over again, a great year for battle rap, particularly into the battles. I cannot wait to get into the top 5 battles videos. I might have a couple honorable mentions for that. I do not have a couple honorable mentions for here. I am sticking straight to the 5 today, but LTBR, as you know, I'm a part of the Let's Talk Battle Rap team, and we will have our own list coming out for some of these topics that might have a little bit more than 5, so don't worry about on my honorable mentions here. You might see some more content from me as the year goes on, or I say as the year goes on. As there's more end of the year content on that platform, you might see a more extensive list, but I'm sticking just to my personal 5 here. I feel super duper confident in the top 3. I'm confident that they are the 3 biggest bodies that I've watched this year. But as for the 4 and 5 spot, if there's any body bag that personally resonated with you this year, you thought that was major, that's not in the video, please let me know in the comment section down below, man. We want to use these videos to kind of summarize, and if anyone forgot a battle or anything, just you drop it in the comments and someone might remember and have a better idea, remember something from the year. We're just trying to get everyone refreshed before, obviously, you have your Codys and your end of the year list and all these different things to kind of award these guys for what they've done. But enough talking from me. Without further ado, let's get right into the number 5 spot. And starting off here, similar to our top 5 events of 2024 list, where a bullpen event was at number 5, we're actually going to take the main event from that event and start off this list here. And that's why I have John versus Calico as my 5th biggest body of the year, right? So for me, the textbook, like what a body bag usually is at its peak, is you get one of the absolute best versions of one opponent, you get one of the absolute worst versions of the other opponent. It takes 2 to make a proper, like, dominant body bag happen in battle rap, and this is a textbook example of that. I've been saying that I feel like John's material for Calico is his best material this year, and in the 4 battles he had, they're pretty much all good to great. I know some people would debate his frack material is actually his best, but I thought his first 2 rounds for Calico, especially when he's considered an all-around talent, right? And I feel like often John is critiqued bar for bar, like just purely his punches. People say that's kind of the weakness in his game, but his first 2 rounds versus Calico is pretty much all punching, and it's at the highest level. It's haymaker after haymaker. He really was not missing, and on the flip side, you have Calico, who really didn't give much effort to the battle, it felt like. Besides choking pretty much all 3 rounds, the rounds when he did kind of finish them were shorter in general. The material itself was on that mixtapey, indirect, like just did not apply to John most of the time here throughout the battle. So you're getting that 100-0 kind of situation here, and John won the judge vote and $50,000 from this battle. So there's a level of impact and importance that brings. So $50K on the floor, and you're absolutely smoking your opponent. I think it's a battle that many people might forget when they're talking about the more dominant showings of 2024 happened earlier in the year. But I think it definitely had to be considered for me. And the only reason it's down at number 5, because when you're comparing just dominant 3-0s, they're all around the exact same thing, right? And it's going to be a preferential thing. But I feel like some of these other battles, when you're watching, a body is up there for body of the year or something of that nature, it's almost kind of sad to watch the losing guy rap, right? It's almost like a little bit cringy where you're like, damn, like this is just bad. And not that this battle didn't give that feeling, but I think there's a couple more that better represent that. And while this was impactful, like I said, it's went a little under the radar. There's some battles above this that did not go under the radar. And you're going to immediately hear it and be like, oh, that is definitely one of the biggest deaths of the year. But like I said, you get the worst version of Calico, you get debatably the best version of John in a peak year for him, and for me, that was enough for it to make the list. But then moving up to number 4, and what I say, a battle, it's almost a little more sad to watch, a little bit more cringy, and I feel like this is a battle, it's a perfect example of that above John and Cal, and that's why at number 4, we go over to Battle Academy, and we have Bill Collector versus Chess. Now, we have Chess making a body of the year list. He is a frequent flyer on these lists, and usually not for good reasons, right? However, The reason that I chose this one here is that this is a pure chess choking all 3 rounds, and he choked a few times versus Miss Hustle as well. That was dominant and happened just a little bit before this one, but for anyone that's seen both battles, you know that Bill in chess, I mean, chess is giving like 0. He choked all 3, and all 3, like each choke was worse than the last. It was happening quicker in the round, earlier in the round, the last, and it almost felt like, while we're kind of used to this from chess in these situations, this one, it's like the pressure built on him as the battle went on. And by the time you get to the third, like I said, that feeling of like sadness, like, damn, he really doesn't have a round. While on the flip side, you have Bill Collector at 1,000. And listen, him versus Tay-Rock, which we'll talk about probably in a little bit here when I do my top 5 battles of 2024 video. You could debate that material's a bit better, but I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I think that Bill has some great highs in that battle. He also has some times where I feel like that his rounds aren't as great as maybe another one in the battle. However, versus chess, all 3 of Bill's rounds, I feel like, are basically at the same level. They're all 8 out of 10 rounds, if not above. He was styling, and even gets to the point in the third when he's rapping with like the multicolored like sunglasses on. And for anyone that remembers that, when he threw on those, I don't even know what type of glasses you call those, but he went from bombing on him with the angles and the punches to keep bombing on him with the angles and the punches, to the point that he's styling on him and even landing the comedy at a high rate to kind of belittle chess at the end of the battle. This is a murder, and we're going to talk about a lot of murders in this video. But I think with Bill in chess, particularly if you had to choose between Hustle in chess or Bill in chess, I think Bill is the bigger body bag of the two. It's another one that happened earlier in the year, so people might not, or you might be refreshed to be like, There's been a bunch of 3-0s, but John and Cal, Bill in chess, for me, when we were halfway through the year, that was the biggest body bags I had seen. That was kind of the standard, and I feel like in the second half of the year with these top 3, these, while they happened more recently, very much so came with a little bit of impact afterwards, maybe even a little bit more stakes into the battle itself. But Bill in chess is one that I cannot forget, and it's preferential, as you can hear me speaking. So if you had it 1 or 2 higher, if you got it maybe 1 lower, I couldn't be mad at you, but it's one that stood out to me. And as we enter the top 3 here, like I'd said earlier in the video, I'm confident in my Bill Collector, my John picks here. However, there's definitely some battles that you could argue. I think it'd be open for interpretation at the 4 to 5 spot, but these top 3, if you make any top 5, body bag list this year, these 3 battles have to make it somewhere on your list. I feel like it's almost objective that for some impact reasons, for some post-battle reasons as well, damn near, that all these have to make the list. So at the number 3 spot, which will be our second battle from Battle Academy this year, we are going to talk about Tay-Rock versus Reed Dollaz. And another example of, you get one of the best versions of your opponent this year versus one of the worst that you can get. And with Tay-Rock, it's not like Bill and John, where I'd say it's his best material of the year, because I feel like Tay-Rock has so many different performances that you could put up there for 2024 as his best. But it is one of the better Tay-Rocks. It's 8 minutes each round. I don't feel like one round is super worse than the other or anything. I feel like he's consistent for all 3, never really took his foot off the gas pedal. And you get a Reed Dollaz who was not very good, kind of reminiscent of his Calico battle, and he got away with that versus Calico, because Calico was pretty bad too. But when you face a very good version of Tay-Rock with those rhymes, that's not nearly going to be enough. And the aftermath of this battle puts this up here more than just the battle itself. Now, just by itself, it is a nasty 3-0 win for Tay-Rock. So it already, off the quality, finds itself there. But when you have Reed Dollaz in interviews afterwards saying that Philly is turning on him, and Philly is the only city where they could allow a guy to rap this long, you got Reed Dollaz turning on Philly, man. You got a certified legend mad at his own city because of the result of the battle. And I feel like that's that extra mile where you even have your opponent questioning themselves or their city a little bit. That has to add to it. It's very dominant. I don't believe, maybe Reed choked in the third of this battle, but it's not even like Reed choked in the battle as well. And one could debate if a choke makes it less impressive, more impressive. I don't really look at that. I just look at the situation as a whole, and I'm like, damn, is this uglier than the other situations? And with Tay-Rock and Reed, I absolutely feel that way. Particularly that after the battle kind of like rants by Reed made it worse. But this is one for anyone that's seen it that knows it's probably Tay-Rock's most dominant win on the year. And he has a couple like really one-sided battles this year as well. But to do it to Reed in Philly is what gives it that extra boost for me, and kind of having the legend questioning himself. And that's why I feel like it has to make this top 3 here. And as you get into the top 2, This is number 1 and number 2. I said all 3 of these have to make your list in some sort of way if you're making it, but these 2 in particular, I cannot see an argument where this is not your number 1 and 2 for body of the year. And I feel like there's both good arguments for it being number 1, but we're going to talk about the runner-up first. And we're going to go over, it's going to be in Philly, but not Battle Academy. We're going to talk about the Trenches Anniversary card and Easy the Block Captain versus Ill Will. And this, I feel like, almost has to be up there too, because this was not expected at all. And some of these other battles, Bill and Chess, I wouldn't say was flat out expected. Not even John and Calico, to be honest with you. But Easy versus Ill Will was supposed to be a high level fight. I actually think people would have much rather seen it or predicted it beforehand being one of the best battles of the year. Like, I don't think with John and Cal or Bill and Chess, people were expecting battle of the year type of hype. But Ill Will and Easy, especially the doubt that Easy had, it was more of a 50-50 voting, I'd say even leaning Will, but people were still expecting a high level fight. What they did not expect is this was going to be a Ill Will that showed up for something like his Rosenberg Raw battle where he just wasn't clean, but even the material Ill Will got out was not very good. Like, he's just not good in this battle. It's not, oh, he had some good stuff but choked. He's not good across the board, and Easy was nuclear. It was a complete return to form, especially coming off of the Clips loss, and it's probably one of the top 5 Easies ever in general. And I know the guy doesn't have the resume like some of our other legends where he's got 30 to 40 battles and he's battled all the top tiers, but he's got a storied career up to this point. He's done a lot in the last 3 to 4 years, and his Ill Will material is up there with some of the best. The counter writing, the back-to-back punching, the drug talk is in there. The way he angled and broke down Will, I mean, he was talking to Will's soul, specifically in that second, but all 3 rounds while Will is kind of just wilting away round by round, getting worse. I mean, it was bad pretty much from the first round. Like, just the first round was ugly enough where you're like, God damn, it's really going to go down like this. And it got worse and worse every round. I think Easy's 3 rounds are not just some of his best, like I've said about all these artists. I think that Easy's 3 rounds in this battle are in contention for the flat out performance of the year. It's one of the best collections of 3 rounds, besides the fact it's a body bag. It could have been a closer battle, and I'd still be like, oh my God, this fucking Easy the Block Captain performance. But you get the worst of Ill Will. You get Easy at his absolute peak. And this is definitely one of those, when I'm saying earlier, a battle that you're watching like the loser rap and you're like, God, like, this is bad. Like, it almost makes you a bit uncomfortable because it's that one-sided of a battle. But Easy was a crazy return to form. He's still sitting on the momentum of that battle right now, and that's a big reason that everyone is kind of, even with all these angles coming out before the Suge battle, while you still have some people changing their mind to Suge now, there's a reason people have this level of confidence in Easy, and that's because even if he's facing down tough angles, material that usually would beat him or has beat him in the past, if he raps the way he did versus Ill Will, it doesn't really matter what you have. He's a difficult guy to beat, and in that particular night, Ill Will had absolutely nothing for him. I could see Easy and Ill Will being someone's body of the year, but for me, it just came second to my number 1 pick. And as for this number 1 spot, my pick for the 2024 Body of the Year, we have to go over to Power Moves, and we are going to talk about New Jersey Twerk versus Big K. Now, I know I had said with these top 2, which is Easy and Will and Twerk versus Big K, I went back and forth, and I could see the argument for both, right? And one is because the big similarity they have is Easy's 3 rounds for Will, Twerk's 3 rounds for Big K are true contenders for Performance of the Year. Now, why do I say true contender? Because everyone says that they just are contending when they do something good. How many times have you seen Battle of the Year contender, Battle of the Year contender, Body of the Year contender? Everyone throws contender on everything like parsley and thinks that that really puts it in the convo, but contending means that you could truly win it, like you have a chance. And usually with these awards, there's only 3 performances, 3 battles that ever really have a real chance of being number 1. Not just being very good, but actually winning an award. And I really feel like both of their performances are of that level. So why does Twerk and Big K go over? I just think that there's a couple details in the impact section and in the stakes of the battle that for me put it at number 1. First of all, it was on Power Moves, which ended up being one of the biggest events of the year, true traditional mega event, and a big stage battle. And that adds a little bit for me because there's real legendary moments are made on that big stage. It's not easy to do this sport, let alone do it in front of 1,000 plus people. And that's obviously the situation that Twerk and Big K went down in. Plus, the matchup comes together because of what they did in 2023. We're talking about the number 1 and number 2 people for Champion of the Year. You have the winner with Big K and the runner-up with Twerk. And as someone that was on the panel, voted for Big K, as I keep stating, this came down to the fan vote. If the fan vote went for Twerk, he would have been your 2023 champion of the year, regardless of what we voted on the panel. Obviously, the fan votes went slightly. I think it was 7 votes more went to Big K, and that was the determiner. So they already had the closest Cody race to date yet. Leads up into this battle where you're expecting kind of a war of the Titans, right? You didn't really get a Big K ends up choking in the third, but I feel like that was more because of the pressure that was put on him by the crowd and by New Jersey Twerk, really. You had 2 pretty decent rounds from Big K, and it just did not matter. It was so one-sided up there. It was a difference in crowd control. It was a difference in material. It was a difference in peak haymakers. It was a difference in performance. It was a difference in angling, execution. I really feel like versus an opponent that absolutely should have been an equal. It should have been a war of titans, like I said. One guy made a complete, I say mockery, but mockery in the sense that he just won every second of the battle. What Twerk did to Big K on that stage was ridiculous. Like I said, 1,000+ people, high level impact, and just even a guy that just won Battler of the Year above you the year before, you take that personal, you turn around and you show this guy is really not in competition with me, especially when we get to the brightest lights on the big stage. And that type of statement that I can say not just that he won so dominantly, but all the things it ties to in terms of the overall year, everything that led up into this matchup happening, the type of card, the level of card that it happened on. For me, those are the slight extra points that you have to make that bring New Jersey Twerk to Big K as the number 1 body bag of the year. And there's going to be some people, and obviously the Atlanta crowd caught a lot of criticism for the Power Moves event. A lot of people felt like they did not give Big K a fair shake. And there is some truth to that, right? There was extra noise going on in his round, but there's noise going on all through these big stage performances. Even with Twerk doing good and the crowd supporting him, they're not necessarily being quiet for him. He just knows how to control that amount of people in a room and get them to listen. And Big K obviously struggled to execute that, where he's asking the crowd, can I rap? Can I rap? While New Jersey Twerk is dictating the pace. Just so many things, and I feel like that extra level of impact, that extra level of the big stage to it, and the storyline that was leading into it, the fact it was supposed to be a war, and it was really just a murder, that's what makes New Jersey Twerk versus Big K the biggest body bag of the year, in my opinion. But that is my full top 5 for the biggest body bags of 2024. And I'll put the list up here one more time. But John versus Cal at 5, Bill versus Chess at 4, Tay-Rock versus Reed at 3, Easy versus Ill Will at 2, and then of course my body of the year pick, Twerk versus Big K at 1. And I want to know now, really just in the comments, 2 different things. First of all, your arguments for body of the year, right? Because there's someone that could say, Twerk versus Big K, Big K put up more of a fight than Ill Will, so technically you would flip that around. But there might be another perspective that says the fact that Big K did kind of put up a fight in the first 2, he had decent material, it speaks to just how much Twerk was drowning him out and how dominantly he was winning. So I know there's a few different ways to argue it. I don't think too many of you guys are going to not understand my reasoning for these top 2 or 3. I feel like they're extremely impactful, but I want to know your logic behind it, as well as any battles that you feel like I might have missed. Would you replace a battle here? Is there a body that maybe wouldn't even make the top 5, but you feel like needs a mention or want to talk about it because it is one of the bigger bodies of the year? Anything body bag related in 2024, this is the time. Please let me know in the comment section down below. We can get some dialogue going, man. But I feel like this is a pretty good description of what our most dominant wins are, and I look forward to, which will probably be even a harder topic to debate, the top 5 battles of 2024. And I don't know if that'll be the exact next one, but it's going to be in the next 1 or 2, right? So we're getting down to what I would consider the most prestigious of awards coming up. But for me, this is a representation of the guys who really caught the most dominant and really ugly wins of 2024, man. But like I said, let me know in the comment section down below any battles you think I missed, anything you would want to debate from the list, and let me know what list you would want next. What topic of 2024 do you want next for the battle wrap-up content here for the year? But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.